This is CW Wrestling Talk here with another edition of TW Wrestling Talk. Um, just wanted to, first of all, talk about my recent post last week of a video called, which is a Brock Lesnar 2012 WWE Return reenactment. Um, I don't, I don't. Maybe you've seen it already, maybe not, but um, hopefully you'll check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Um, just a little something fun, a little bit of humor to it. Um, I posted in general, I'd say I got a pretty good reception of it. My on my Facebook post of it, it was some friends liked it pretty well, and I'd say overall got some good reviews. But it I post one page I posted on Facebook. It got well, some people liked it and saw the fun in it, but there was some. Just want to say there was some like really unnecessary criticism, and not just of the video, but of me personally, for doing the video in the first place and the intentions of it. I was criticized anywhere from, being, some immature, low-life kid in a grown man's body, wasting time. Really didn't take that much time to put together, though. I also got some criticism for trying this stuff at home, as someone to bring up. Um, yeah, I mean, but you gotta, people all over the country, um, that people do this stuff, and on trampolines. I mean, this is a reenactment video for fun. With a on a trampoline, yeah, things can go wrong. But we all assume risks in our everyday lives. I mean, you drive over the speed limit, you play tackle football without pads on. I pointed this out to people, but some people just, you know, they're right no matter how wrong they come off as, or how profane they come off as, and it really just goes to show you, a lot about people's character sometimes. Sometimes all you have to do is just post a simple video that was just meant to be fun. Isn't crossing any boundaries, and it's amazing what kind of what kind of um, character flaws you can get out of people who don't even know you, and you don't even know, and may never even meet. So you know, just wanted to kind of bring that all to your attention, and again, just our intentions behind the video. It was really just fun. I mean, I've done all throughout my life. I've never broken a bone. I've never had to go to the hospital for a serious injury. Um, I've done a lot of wrestling related stuff on trampolines, on my trampoline specifically, which wasn't the one in the video, but so just relax. I mean, obviously, if anyone's gonna do this stuff, be safe about it. I mean, just watch what you're doing. That's what I do. I mean, I don't, you know, but I know what I know what I can do, and I know how to. Accidents do happen, but if people are gonna do it if people get hurt, you know, trained professionals do it, um, and get hurt, frequently in the business. If it's such a big deal, then that people, are going to do it here on a trampoline here and there, then there shouldn't be professional wrestling, to begin with in the first place. But that's how it is. There's always going to be people. It's just how maturely they do it. How much common sense they have doing it. You can do stuff like that and have common sense, believe me. So just wanted to talk about that before I get on with you know, what conspired in, you know, in recent episodes here. Well, on the most recent episode of Raw, mostly in SmackDown. Um, you know, first of all, you know, Kane and Daniel Bryan again continue to impress. 3 seems to be the magic number when it comes to you know, segments throughout the show with them. You know, pre-tape segments. This time they were in a, you know, a diner setting. You know, which was definitely, you know, provided a new you know, a new kind of setting for these guys to, you know, bring their humor and their comedy and entertainment to the show. And you know, I'm sure we all saw it. It was some good stuff from Kane and Daniel Bryan, and of course their anger management counselor. So I mean, that was good stuff. And then if SmackDown was also interesting. They were having trouble getting along that night, but that show, those guys actually dominated the show as far as segments and airtime goes. They were in, you know, the opening promo with Edge, which was interesting. Good to see Edge back, and they closed the show in a tag match, which ended with them just beating the crap out of guys with chairs, and at the end standing tall, appearing to, you know, get along. So that was interesting. And then of course on Raw they came out, but were ambushed by you know, from behind by a new team of you know, a newly formed team of Cody Rhodes and Damian Sandow, which I think is a good move. Now what they had to say was, I don't know, was a little weak, but it was nevertheless, I think, a good idea to put them in a tag team. I mean, Sandow, it seems like they've been kind of looking for a new direction with him, give him something new to do, and Cody Rhodes as well. And I think to pair those guys in a tag team, you know, 2 mid-card heels, is a good way to help maybe elevate and evolve Sandow a little more, and I guess maybe to kind of help refresh Cody Rhodes a little more. So that was a good move, and it does, you know, with that in mind, it does seem to be helping the tag team division, you know, have some more star power, you know, involved there. So that's good. You know, interesting. Could be interesting to see what this tag team does. Also, of course, Daniel Bryan and Kane now got an official tag team name, as voted for by the WWE, you know, universe on Twitter. I would argue that this one, you know, this Twitter poll perhaps was not, you know, predetermined, or, you know, because, you know, it made, I mean, it made most sense, I think, to have it be Team Hell No. I'm pretty sure, you know, that's initially I said it's going to be pretty well in that in favor of that, and that's what it was. Team Hell No. You know, Kane with, you know, the whole hell, you know, Hell's demon, you know, hell, a devilish kind of gimmick in a sense, and Daniel Bryan with his no chance. It made, you know, only made complete sense, I think, to have the be Team Hell No. And the chance, I think if people want to chant for him, you know, they can now have a you know, a good Team Hell No chant. I think would sound better than teamwork, or, you know, so that, or team friendship, Team Hell No, I think would kind of roll off the tongue easier when people want to chant for them. So, you know, it's interesting. It's also interesting how Daniel Bryan can really range from 1 minute he can be a heel, next minute he can be a face. Whereas Kane's more of a face, you know, consistent face now. But Daniel Bryan, it's interesting. He can be a face or a heel. If he's not getting along with Kane, it's like he's more of a heel. But now sometimes when they're when they're working together, it's like he's a face. So very interesting dynamic there, and I'm sure we'll continue to see those guys flourish on the next SmackDown and next week on Raw. All right. Now past that, we saw Ryback, a squash match essentially on the Miz. Um, which definitely, as Intercontinental Champion, I'm willing to bet a lot of Miz fans are not happy about how easily Ryback seemed to beat Miz. But I mean, it is what it is. It's you know, they're trying to elevate Ryback, which I'll get to later. But that I would have thought him and Miz would be maybe closer to a mid-card match, but no, this was kind of a squash match. So thought I was a little interested in WWE's intent to do that, have it kind of be like a squash match on the Intercontinental Champion. But also Sheamus teamed with Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio tonight to have what was a pretty good. At the end, it ended pretty. The ending was pretty creative. With the flow of how moves kind of just flowed into each other at the end there, against Del Rio and Ricardo and of course David Otunga. But yeah, the way the match ended, like things really like fell into place pretty well. I liked how they worked that ending out. That was pretty good. And of course then Sheamus delivered a brogue kick to Otunga then after the match. So it was a good way to have Sheamus, I think, involved on Raw. It's not, that's more of a secondary brand, but so he's but it was a good way to have him involved, I think. On both shows. So it's pretty good stuff there. Other than that, Big Show came back, knocked out. Well, he came out in the middle of a Tensei and Brodus Clay match, which was made a little more interesting because Big Show did interfere and knock the both of them out. Guess we'll see where that goes. A little interesting to see where that goes with Big Show. I mean, Big Show took a little time off after SummerSlam, and I think people sell him short. I think he could be, he could really, he still has it in him to, to do some big things. So I say, why not have him do something big? But well, I guess he's gonna face Orton, it appears, on SmackDown. So perhaps we'll see those two end up in a feud that leads up to Hell in a Cell. Guess we'll see where that goes on SmackDown. And other than that, I feel like I'm gonna miss something before I. Well, anyways, I'll just get on with CM Punk, the WWE Championship picture. CM Punk, Paul Heyman. I gotta say, CM Punk was on fire tonight. I mean, he could, 3 promos tonight. It just goes to show you how much you can trust CM Punk on the mic to deliver. Of course, Cena was also in this show, but he was only in the last segment. But CM Punk was, especially at the end, I think he was on fire tonight on the mic. He initially, with him and Paul Heyman, the opening segment was pretty good. They were, they called out the referee that made the mistake last week, and they went from there. I mean, saying how he should resign, and they kind of made a bit of a parody out of the NFL replacement referees with the whole sleeping blindfold thing. I thought that was a nice touch there. I'm a big football fan, so that I definitely enjoyed that little bit there. But that was definitely good stuff in the beginning. But I think it was unfortunately, and they got the way they got under AJ's skin, Paul Heyman and CM Punk. I think, which getting, things getting under skin hopefully will eventually to leading to a new, let me go through that again, will hopefully lead eventually to a new general manager. AJ just isn't cutting it to me. I don't have a good vibe anymore every time she comes out, which tends to be when CM Punk and Paul Heyman are in the ring. I mean, that opening segment was pretty good until I think it was kind of ruined by them having Paul Heyman, kind of get down on his knees and propose to AJ. That was, I don't know why, things were going well, and then they did that, and I'm thinking, why are you doing this? We know he's going to get slapped, and lo and behold, he did. It was silly, it just made the entire opening look silly. Thought they kind of threw that all away there with that. But that's what they did. And then the middle of the show, they had, towards the middle, they had CM Punk come out again, talking to Mick Foley this time, which was cool. It was cool having him. Mick Foley basically, was really calling out CM Punk's character here. He did have some strong words to say, although I don't, he's saying how CM Punk is like only focused on being a statistic and, instead of a legend. I partially agree with, what they had him say there, but I also, disagree. CM Punk, as long as he's been champion, he's eclipsed 300 days. Who would not want to, continue, such an impressively long reign? Who would not want to continue that and keep it going and, continue to work your way up the list, statistic or not? Who would not, intend to do that? Whose goal, be champion as long as you can. I mean, that's a winner's mentality. That's, which would, further later on further cement him as a legend if you, keep it going. So, that's what I say. But, Mick Foley kind of walked out, looking like he got the better of CM Punk there. You could argue, I mean, you could always argue either way. But, and, eventually this, also before we get to the end, of course, Jerry Lawler had his, exclusive interview with Michael Cole. Clear, at this point, Michael Cole, has clearly kind of reestablished himself as, back to his, his face kind of, commentary role. It appears like his days of being a, this super heel commentator are long gone now. A few months ago, initially they really did start to reduce the amount of, heel Cole antics that Cole would bring onto the show. But for a little over the summer, he still kind of, had his heel antics, here and there, to a lesser extent. But now it appears that they are like completely gone, as he ever since that serious heart attack that Jerry Lawler suffered, it brought out the, not the Michael Cole we know as a commentator, but Michael Cole, the human being, the man. He was kind of forced into being, his absolute self and not being his character that night. And, which leading up to Night of Champions, when JBL came back to help commentate, and of course JR came back to help commentate. It only now seems fitting to make Michael Cole, to have Michael Cole kind of return to form as his, impartial, down the middle commentator role that he used to have, in days past. And yeah, I mean his heel commentator role did seem to run its course, and I think it's kind of good now to have you know the old Michael Cole back. As simple as that. Um, and it'll be good to eventually see Jerry Lawler back, but it's good to see that he's been recovering pretty well. It's as simple as that. Long live the king, like those shirts. Um, but yeah, JR's been kind of helping Michael Cole, fill Jerry Lawler's spot for the meantime, which is always a good thing. But yeah, I mean, just I guess they're gonna hold down the fort until Jerry Lawler is back in behind the commentary table on Raw and pay-per-views. So then that leads us to the ending segment of the show, um, which when Cena was alone in the ring, just didn't it really didn't come off well to me. It's okay. He's got his Rise Above Cancer T-shirts, and you know, I have no problem making of him making just like a quick mention of it, but um, it seemed like Cena spent little too little too many words on off-topic stuff. Um, that's just my opinion. I mean, nothing that he couldn't say when the show was off the air. I mean, there's, but it just continues to, puzzle me about, see Cena's character. Just like, oh, like give it a break already. I mean, his the way he points out his pink hat, his pink attire and all. Like, it's obvious, and I like though when CM Punk came out and really changed the mood of the promo, because he pointed, he trashed Cena for his pink attire, and he trashed Cena for being a what was it, something, a weenie, that passive aggressive weenie, when it comes to people booing him. I loved how CM Punk is getting heel heat lately. I loved how he just said, he will tell them to shut up, and that to me shows a refreshed character who is kind of on his own island right now in WWE. Um, and when you got Paul Heyman as your manager, I mean, it just doesn't get much better for you than that. Um, at least for the meantime, against Cena, that bodes pretty well with me. Um, and he threatened Cena. He turned his back and gave him to the count of 5, to run away. Um, and then he turned around, and of course Cena pulls out this. Well, I was a track runner in high school. It looked like a silver baton, if you ask me, and a lead pipe. But he pulled it out, and CM Punk turned around and got hit with it. And CM Punk just kind of left the ring from there. And then Cena has to go and say, tough guys wear pink, and call this a pipe bomb, and it really didn't come off as funny to me. It really looked too choreographed, and you could tell that they were trying to play it up like oh, Cena came prepared tonight. He knew that CM Punk had something up his sleeve and whatnot, but before that they were saying how Cena wasn't even supposed to be on the show, and it still came off as kind of choreographed. That's just the way I look at it. It was a little silly, because even if because when would have he'd thought, okay, CM Punk's gonna turn his back on me, so then that'll give me a chance to pull out my lead pipe without him seeing it. Yeah, maybe CM Punk would have something planned, but you'd think he wouldn't have his back turned, who would have thought that? You would have thought if he was going to attack Cena, he wouldn't be like looking away, giving them this count to 5. Again, that just looked, too choreographed. in a silly way to, I think, make Cena look good in his state, being in an arm sling. Which I get. I mean, they're playing it up as if we won't see him until Hell in a Cell. Um, so I mean, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, they got 2 more Raws until then, so I mean, again, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess, how they fill time with these guys. They always seem to find ways for CM Punk to have good segments, whether Cena's there or not. So I mean, that's always good. But Cena, we may not see him until Hell in a Cell, um, which hopefully CM Punk remains champion. I think, and I've said it many times, but in order to have his reign continue to push the limit and make it push towards eclipsing Cena's personal personally longest reign. So I'm hoping they keep up with that. But after that, when CM Punk was backstage, he walked by Mick Foley. He kind of walked past him, and then he turned around and he just gave him the kick right to Mick Foley, who was talking to somebody backstage. And he started walking, and then CM Punk started walking away. But then he stops and turns around, and you hear a couple heavy footsteps, and I'm thinking, who could this be? Could this be I mean, I wasn't totally sure. I was wondering, like, could this be like Brock Lesnar or something, like, right there to applaud him or something? I mean, I had no idea who it was. I was thinking, could it have been another legend? Like, could it have been The Rock or anybody? I was curious as to who. There's plenty of different people who I thought, who could it be is that they're about to show us. And I was actually pleasantly surprised and definitely excited that the camera went and Ryback was standing there, looking angry. I mean, because you got to feel happy for Ryback. I mean, yeah, all he really did prior to that in the show was beat Miz in a jobbers match, the Intercontinental Champion. Which, by the way, if he squashed Miz that easily, clearly at this point it would be senseless to have him win the Intercontinental Championship. If he just destroyed him that easily, it makes him look like he's definitely above that level. So therefore, with him now, with his sights set on CM Punk, you gotta wonder now, at this point in the show, is Ryback, looking to get in line here, for the WWE Championship, maybe he'll just get involved in some way. But that's definitely interesting. You gotta wonder where they're gonna go from here, with Ryback. Because it appeared again, he just kind of squashed Miz. So what more do they have to do there with him and Miz? What more do they have there? So it appears at this point, could Ryback, now, next week, will we be able to consider him, a main event player, a main event contender? You just gotta wonder what they're gonna do with Ryback after an interesting ending like that. That definitely kind of helped, what I thought was a cheesy ending, with Cena hitting Punk with that pipe bomb or whatever he wants to call it. That definitely helped, the ending, I think, there. So it'll be interesting very interesting to see what goes down on Raw, next week. Next week. And you figure, when's Ryback's streak gonna end? You'd think it wouldn't end anytime soon, but already, it seems like they're thrusting him into the main event picture, perhaps. But I don't. At the same time, I don't think that they would just end his streak this soon. So I'm very curious, and that's not a bad thing on WWE's part. That's a good thing. There's, dozens of possibilities, I'm sure, that of things that could happen. So, you go back a few weeks, and if you would have thought, and you looked ahead, and if someone told you this is how this Raw in a few weeks is going to end with Ryback, who would think that? So we'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. Simply, see what happens on SmackDown with SmackDown guys, and of course we will stay tuned for Raw next week. And on top of that, then you can stay tuned for more WWE coverage from TW Wrestling Talk. Thanks for watching, and again, please subscribe. I encourage you to subscribe. Comment with any questions, and also check out that Lesnar video, and it's just for fun, and let me know what you think. Hopefully you don't think anything so terrible of my character and so stupid that I did an F5 to my friend on a trampoline. So again, thanks for watching, and just stay tuned, and please subscribe, and thanks for your support.